Why are you all here?
No fingers.
Don't eat me. Goodbye.
In today's video, we're revisiting one of Grant's most popular projects, making gummy Legos. Hey guys, today we're here with the whole King of Random family.
Hey, we're here because we wanted to make one of Grant's most popular projects, Lego gummies. So we thought it fitting to include all the kids, and we wanted to make an appearance and say hi. It's been a year, and we wanted to enjoy one of Grant's projects and commemorate this time that you guys have spent with us and give you a little insight into where we're at and have a little fun on camera.
Here's the basic idea. We're here with the King of Random family to make some gummy Legos that you can eat and build with.
Okay, so should we get pouring some Legos, guys?
Yeah!
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna be following the recipe Grant laid out previously, which is made of Jell-O, some extra gelatin powder, a little bit of water, and then you can tinker with the colors with some food coloring if you like, but for the most part, Jell-O of course has colors. And one little twist we are gonna try is we're going to see if we can use some tonic water and maybe some B2 vitamin powder to see if we can get gummies that glow in a black light.
What do you guys think of glowing Lego gummies? Should we try it?
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
So each batch, like I said, doesn't have very many ingredients. We have half a cup of water, we'll do 1/4 cup of corn syrup, a small box of Jell-O. It comes in multiple sizes. We're going for the 3-ounce boxes of Jell-O, and 2 packets of the unflavored gelatin. One thing that I have learned in making this is that it's actually easier by a long shot to mix the gelatin in if you do it before the corn syrup. So instead of water and corn syrup together and then adding the Jell-O and stuff, I'm just doing the water, then I'll have the 2 packets of gelatin and the entire box of Jell-O, and then we're gonna add our 1/4 cup of corn syrup into it. Otherwise, you get clumps and lumps and it takes a long time to dissolve in. Just trying to make sure that there's no big clumps or even little clumps of the gelatin left. It's not going to, well, if we have clumps in it now, then it's not going to evenly dissolve into the water, and then we won't have enough gelatin, and then our Jell-O gummy Lego bricks will be like too weak. They won't be strong enough to come out of the mold.
So we want the liquid to be nice and smooth, and we want the clumps to dissolve evenly so we get a nice thick Jell-O. Now, when Grant was testing this recipe, we probably made it 5 to 10 times before we got the perfect recipe. So we'd open the gelatin, he tried an extra teaspoon of gelatin, didn't work. Then he tried 2 extra teaspoons of gelatin. We got to the point where we found out these packets are perfectly proportionate, that 2 packets was the ideal amount. But then he tried 3 packets to see if that would work. Those were really gross Lego gummies because you could barely they were like really.
Like a gummy bear, but worse.
Yeah, they were really like tough, but gummy. So they were gross because they were almost hard, but they were still gummy. So we had a good laugh about that.
So now we're just mixing in the corn syrup, 1/4 cup of corn syrup mixed into it.
So the corn syrup also allows the extra gelatin to make the texture of the gummy more smooth. So that was another thing we had to learn because we tried just putting the extra gelatin in, and like I said, it was really like hard, even though it was gummy. But the corn syrup gives it that nice smooth texture and extra sugar.
Smells good.
Yeah, it's gonna smell. Let's see, what flavor is this? We're doing apricot. We've got some apricot Jell-O. That's pretty well mixed in, so now we're gonna throw this on the stove at medium-low heat and just let it heat up until it gets clear. Everything gets perfectly well dissolved and melted into it, and then we'll let it cool down a bit and pour it into our mold. Although, if we have too much bubbles or foam, we've got something we can do to get rid of some of that as well. We have this tonic water, and the tonic water in a black light actually glows kind of blue, so I think this would be a good one to try mixing with the blue powder and see if it,
All right, let's do it.
So instead of just plain water, we're gonna be using the tonic water. All right, so you actually don't want quite all of it because this is a different brand and each packet is 3.94, so we want about 3/4 of it.
So don't pour all of it in.
There's no more in there. Perfect.
Good job. Pretty loud.
It is.
All of it, all of it.
All of it. Okay, you get on here and we'll make your red Jell-O next, okay?
All right, I'm gonna open it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Wow.
It's gonna pour out right there. Just pour it all into the jar.
side. Man, good
Nicely
job.
done.
Oh, wow.
Look, that made some bubbles. Do we like bubbles in our Lego gummies?
No.
No. How are we gonna get rid of those bubbles? Does anybody know?
Okay, we've got our apricot is about ready, and you can see that there are some bubbles on the surface of it. We're just gonna see if we can take all that off. If it's not coming off super easily, something that you can definitely do, as Grant showed in the original, is you can just pour everything into a tall cup, and as it cools down, this foam and gunk stuff is gonna cool off and just be really easy to remove.
I want to feel it.
Okay.
It was hot.
It's hot.
That's hot.
As you can see in the mold, this is Lego bricks sort of upside down, and we want there to be interlocking bump shapes on the underside of the Lego so that they can fit together. So to do that, we're going to use this base plate, and we're going to sort of smoosh it down onto the mold after we've got all the stuff in there. But we don't want it to stick too much. It doesn't stick too much to silicone. It sticks a little bit, but not excessively. But to make sure it doesn't stick too much to our plate, we're going to just add some oil. And I'm just gonna use some paper towel and sort of smear it around on there until it's got a good coating.
In the original Lego gummies, the first pours we did, we just poured the Lego gummies and brought them out so they had a flat bottom, so they were not stackable. And we were sitting there eating them and they were really good, and Grant was like, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we could stack these? I was like, yeah, that'd be really cool. How could we do that? And we were like, it seems really obvious. But at the time, we hadn't come up with the idea of using this to put on there. So the next mold we did, we took the silicone and we were like, how could we make bumps on the underside, right? So we were like, could we get Legos and put them on there? And then we're like, maybe we could get flat Legos and put them on top. And then we saw these bases, and Grant was like, genius. What if we took the base and put it on like that to make bottoms for the Legos so that they would have those imprints coming up. So then they became stackable after that. So fun little story.
All right, we've got our apricot mix about ready, so I'm just gonna pour it off into a squeeze bottle here. To try and get some of those bubbles out though, I just have the lid on and I'm just gonna spin it around, and the centrifugal force will get some of those bubbles out.
Whoa.
Well, that's aggressive.
It is, but it brings some of the bubbles up to the top, so there's just a little bit less.
Go ahead and pour it right in.
I want to do it.
Good job, Jamin.
I want to do it.
You'll get a chance to.
Can I do it?
Yeah, you're gonna get a turn. Stop. That one's perfect too. Two good pours. Mom's gonna help you squeeze that in. Maybe we'll, okay, and then on to the next one.
So at this point, I'm going to put our base plate over the Lego mold here to try and get the interior bumps.
It's like in 1 more hour, all of these would be ready.
Yep. Here we are, we're back. What's ready for us, guys? Hey, is that one of the ones that...
The 2 colors.
That was a 2-color?
And I think you got a drip of the apricot, so it might even be a 3-color technically.
This one, I think,
It was red first and then blue.
Mom,
that
divided
turned out
pretty
really well.
Yeah.
I want to.
That's awesome.
I think you were worried it would mix, but it looks like it didn't.
Yeah, this one I think was the one that was too liquefied to have any separation. So that one did mix totally. But actually you can see the blue on the bottom, but it's pretty mixed.
So just a couple of tips for anyone who's trying this out based on my experiences. So I think I already talked about how I really recommend you add the gelatin before the corn syrup. I would also recommend being sure to wash your mold with soap and water and rinse it well in between each batch. I did a couple of batches off screen, and the second batch I had a really hard time getting out of the mold. I also think it's helping quite a bit that these are cold. The second batch I did, I just let cool sitting outside on the counter. It wasn't in the fridge. I think refrigerating it to cool it down and pulling it out while they're cold makes it a lot easier. That, and like I said, I washed the mold. I think all of those things helped, because these, you can see, they just come out really nice and easily for the most part. And my first batch came out easily. My second batch was a little bit of a struggle.
This is a short layer of orange and blue. And then Riley's idea was to put them together and make them layered like this. So now it almost looks like a fine delicacy you could find on a cruise ship.
A sandwich. Definitely done.
Or the world's weirdest sushi. If you want to stack them and build with them, they should work for that too.
Okay, let's see what you guys can stack and build. Everybody grab 5.
These
and
ones
start stacking and
will
building
stack
them.
together. These ones won't.
These ones could be the base though.
So if you're careful, you can actually get the bricks to interlock.
What did you do? Is it sticking on your face?
The blue ones were made with tonic water, and the yellow and green ones were made with a little bit of B2 vitamins. So let's see how much glowing we got out of them under a black light.
Take mine.
Oh my gosh.
This is blue.
This one.
The yellow ones glow quite a bit under a black light. That's pretty intense. And I think it's interesting, so the orange ones, we didn't add any powder to them, but there was a fluorescent food coloring that I added that apparently glows just a little bit as well. Some of it settled. You can see that the B2 vitamin is like concentrated on the bottom of it.
Thank you guys so much for joining us and our family for building one of Grant's legacy videos, Lego Gummies. One of our favorite projects as a family, and I hope you guys have a great time building it as well. I hope you go home and do this project because it's loads of fun, and the payoff, you get to eat the product.
Just don't eat too many.
I'm back in the studio, and we could not do a Lego Gummy video without putting a fun twist on it. So I brought Jared from Gold Yeller into the studio, and we are gonna be playing with these little Lego Gummy guys. Jared, what are we gonna be doing with these little Lego Gummy guys and these heads with all these fun facial expressions?
I think here's the basic idea.
Okay, here's the basic
We're
idea.
going to probably eat the heads off
Okay.
and then replace them with Lego heads that makes it look like they're talking, and then we switch them every single frame, and that's what we're gonna do.
Okay, so I have taken over the studio. I'm gonna bring the kids back in. We're gonna let them play in the studio with these little Lego Gummy guys, and what they're gonna do is they get to bite the heads off. Jared has the courage to be here with us, and we're doing Lego stop motion with the kids. So he's really brave to be here. In the description below, there's a link to his channel. Go check it out. There's also a link to my blog where you'll be able to find out what is really happening with these shenanigans in our life, and especially kind of how things have been since Grant has been gone. I'm gonna let the kids go ahead and take one Lego Gummy guy each, bite its head off, and then put it back. All right, okay, we bit their heads off. We're ready to get started. Yeah, Jared needs to bite one off. He ate the whole thing. That's not biting the head off. Okay, who's not following directions here?
Sorry,
Point at him.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Okay, what do you want your Lego Gummy guy to say to Dad? Did you see Dad? Yeah. In your dreams? Mm-hmm. What did he say?
He said,
I love you. What did Dad do?
he made some jello gummies for me to eat all.
And did you eat them all gone?
Yeah.
And what do you want to say to Dad?
And say to them goodbye.
Okay.
Okay, now move your hands out and then push that button right there.
Perfect.
Okay, now push the button. This one right here.
Why are you all here?
No fingers.
Don't eat me. Goodbye.
Well, we want to thank you guys again for joining us for this. It's been a year since we lost Grant, and we just want to thank you for being on this journey with us and continuing to support our projects and the legacy that Grant left us. Grant, we really miss you, but thanks for what you left us.